And good evening, everyone, and thanks for ending your work week with us. Annie is off tonight, and we're going to begin with some of our local athletes looking to extend their work week. They've got visions of state titles dancing in their heads, but they have to keep on winning. And one of the hottest teams right now is Richland. The Bombers are peaking at the right time at Fran Rich Stadium to host Skyview, down 3-0 just before the half, and with a 30-mile-an-hour wind at his back, quarterback Zach Whitby goes to work, one slant pass after another, chewing up the yardage, and that sets up a nice run by Nathan Perry. He starts up the middle, bounces it to the outside, takes it in from 15 yards out. The Bombers up 7-3. And how about Touchy, the Tribe, just pouring it on against Odessa Harrington. They had 30 unanswered points after just 1 quarter of play. And those title hopes for these young men in red are very much alive. And it doesn't end with football. A number of our girls' volleyball teams are in action as well, including Connell and Tri-Cities Prep, the Slams, the Digs, the Saves. Morgan Vance will have much more coming up later in sports. And now to a story that started with one of your Facebook tips, telling us that you've become a victim of credit and debit card fraud. Well, Gina Lazara looked into the problem and learned there is a common denominator.
Here's some AL something club for $406.
Now, if you feel you've become a victim of fraud, call your bank immediately. You should be able to get back any money that was lost.
KIMA Action News.
And good evening, everyone, and thanks for staying up with us. And we begin tonight with an arrest and a murder that shocked the community. David Johnson had gone to Harlan Landing on Monday with his wife to hit some golf balls. She walked away for a short while, and when she returned, Johnson was knocked out cold with a blow to the head. He died a short time later. Well, Darren Wright has been booked into the Yakima County Jail for first-degree assault and second-degree murder. The sheriff's office put out a release yesterday of a person of interest, and a state trooper remembered arresting a man on Monday resembling the description for throwing rocks onto the highway between Sela and Yakima. Wright was released from jail, but then arrested later on Monday in Union Gap on charges of domestic assault. His name was forwarded to YSO, and investigators say that Wright admitted to striking David Johnson with a golf club. The sheriff's office says they had little to go on in this case at the very beginning, but numerous citizens called in to tell of the suspicious person they had seen near Harlan Landing. And Darren Wright will likely make his first appearance in court tomorrow, and KIMA will be there. And now let's talk about something else that's got everybody talking, and if you're outside, you're chattering. Mike McCabe told us the temps were going to take a dip, and man, it was a nosedive. It's down in the teens out there. It's going to get colder before the sun comes up, so let's kick it over to Mike right now to find out, Mike, just how cold is it going to get tonight?
Well, Terry, some spots dipping down into the low teens, 12, 13 degrees, certainly not out of the question.
And these colder temperatures tonight don't have Yakima Valley farmers worried yet, but they say the sudden drop in weather could do some damage. Farmers say the worst that can happen tonight is some bud damage. Vineyards don't think our November chill will affect grape production for next season. Farmers say fruits and vegetables should be fine if it doesn't drop below 0. Now, Johnson Orchard says that could get dangerous for their crops.
The cold makes them just crack, and we have to replace trees, so we don't want to do that.
You know, farmers tell KIMA that a gradual cool down is not a problem for their crops. Well, a Yakima councilwoman has reversed her position on recreational pot sales. Maureen Atkinson defeated a proposed ban on marijuana early last month, but at last night's council meeting, she changed her mind. Atkinson now says the sale of recreational marijuana should not be allowed in Yakima city limits. Council members who favor a ban are now in the majority. Atkinson's main reasons for the switch: to protect our children and to comply with federal law, which makes marijuana illegal.
I'm not worried about the 18 to 19-year-olds. I really am worried about 10-year-olds. And I work on the gang-free initiative, and it's one of the things that, you know, nationwide they're trying to crack down on. I just, you know, in retrospect, I voted wrong the first time.
Now, the current moratorium on recreational pot sales will end in May. Yakima could then take up legislation to ban licensed stores. And law enforcement says that even money is not bringing forward the information they need. Benton County deputies offered a $1,000 reward for anyone with info leading to the arrest in the case of major vandalism at the Kybee School District. They say the reward has not produced any information. No one's even called. The vandal broke through 3 doors to access the main server room last week. Computers were smashed and phone lines were cut. The damage is estimated more than $100,000. Right now, sheriffs are still trying to track down and eliminate theories they have, and they have no solid suspects at this time. Well, a change is coming to abandoned, neglected homes here in Yakima. City code enforcement has a new tactic to keep out trespassers and stop the mess that brings down neighborhoods by adding a fence around the property. This home along the 600 block on South 9th Street is the first fence installed by contractors, and neighbors say they have seen a change.
Nobody's been dumping garbage back there, and it's nice. I like it.
This action was prompted after repeated attempts to clean the property up failed. Code enforcement has a list of 5 other properties they wish to fence up. Well, how about some good news to close out our Friday? A record number of swans have flooded McNary headquarters this week. 84 were counted on Wednesday, but dozens have decided to stick around. And Fish and Wildlife believe the underwater vegetation attracted the birds.
Anytime you see a swan, it's fantastic. I mean, they're so big, you know, upwards of 26 pounds. And we've been lucky in that we have both tundra and trumpeter out here, a lot of times swimming side by side.
They are a beautiful sight. The nearby sluice attracts all sorts of birds over the winter.